With word that Donald Trump can't post his $464 million bond, his minions have been engaging in cringy commentary coming to his defense.
What are you doing?
Not America.
It's not America, but it is the Laura Coates live show, and I am speaking. So that will be the rule, not Venezuela, nowhere else. Fine, but it's Laura Coates live. And hello, my name is Laura Coates.
Welcome into TYT Overruled. I am your host, Adrienne Lawrence.
So Judge Engoron says that he wants this $350 million within 30 days. Now, I know that you're planning on appealing this, but you've still got to put up the full amount pending that appeal. Does Donald Trump have that kind of money sitting around?
Yes. I mean, he does. Of course, he has money. You know, he's a billionaire. We know that.
Donald Trump's camera-ready lead counsel, Alina Habba, pushed the narrative that there'd be no problem posting the $500 million bond.
So he'll just write a check, Alina?
I'm not going to get into privileged information, but there will be a bond and there will be no issues with that. So that's all I'll say on that.
Okay.
Apparently, there have been some real issues in making that bond, which is due March 25th.
Trump's lawyers write in a recent filing here that getting the judgment's full amount in a bond is a practical impossibility. They say they have tried to approach about 30 surety companies through 4 separate brokers and cannot get a bond for this amount. So what does that mean?
That says he doesn't have the collateral, so a company is like, no, we're not going to do it.
Monday night on CNN, Shark Tank's Kevin OLeary couldn't help but run to Trump's defense, embarrassing himself in the process. Here's how the exchange started.
Now, you take, an issue with this, of course, more broadly in terms of what it means to be in an American business structure, Kevin. But in terms of the valuation, can you be clear as to why? I mean, why would the properties not be sufficient collateral?
What a great message to send out all around the world. Take a claim where there was no monies lost. There was no fraud here in the context of actually people losing money. Deutsche Bank, who made the loan, was made whole. And let's make a penalty of $500 million against a crime, apparently, where no monies were lost. Great message for New York. Great message for America. Bring your capital because we'll protect your property. I think that was a statement that would be much better made sometime in Venezuela. I'm not kidding. That's a scary, scary message.
OLeary then inaccurately claims that there's never been a $500 million bond and that this law has never been applied.
And by the way, there are no
again,
such thing
the
as
laws exist to protect the marketplace.
There are no $500 million bonds. Never been done before. Never. This law has never been applied. Forget about Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. Everything to do about America and the New York brand.
And that's when OLeary really goes off the rails.
A horrible message to everybody around the world watching this. Absolutely horrific.
Well,
This
wait,
case
Kevin,
goes
Kevin,
way
but
past
hold on a
Trump.
second, Kevin.
Trump
What
will
would
be
be
gone one day. This
hold on a
attorney's
second.
general will be gone one day, and this
I
is
have
what
a
you want to
wonderful
tell
voice,
people
and
around
it
the
won't
world.
be talked
This
over.
Is how we
Kevin
treat money
OLeary,
in America.
I would like to hear what you have to say, but
America.
What are you doing?
Not America.
It's not America, but it is the Laura Coates live show, and I am speaking. So that will be the rule, not Venezuela, nowhere else. Fine, but it's Laura Coates live. And hello, my name is Laura Coates.
Noticing OLeary has lost his way, his co-commenter felt the need to break it down to the Shark Tank face like he's a 5th grader.
The question I want to ask you on this point, though, is what does the reverse say, Kevin, if they do not take action? And I hear your point about you believe there's no fraud and that everyone was made whole, but a judge found otherwise. And so given that, Catherine, to Kevin's point, can you address what your opinion is on the issue? Because your big major concern seems to be what happens if this is not followed through by James or the courts. What message would that sound? You seem to think that's anti-American.
Yeah, look, I'm surprised that Kevin is wasting his good name defending fraud and lies, which I am convinced, Kevin, you have not committed. I don't understand why are you defending the actions of someone who has committed these actions. That, again, there is ample evidence that he has done this. And the idea that just because, the banks themselves may have been in on the fraud doesn't necessarily make it any better. I mean, every single borrower who played by the rules, who honestly reported their income, their assets, their liabilities, they were put at a disadvantage by the fact that Trump lied and didn't play by the rules. Think about every other more productive borrower, what they could have done with these hundreds of millions of dollars, what you could have done with these hundreds of millions of dollars. And again, I believe you play by the rules. Trump does not. We have lots of evidence that he does not. This is bad for the marketplace. It is bad for other borrowers. It's frankly bad for the shareholders of these banks who didn't benefit from this. Maybe the bankers who helped him out with this fraud got a little fatter bonus, but the shareholders were not benefiting from this. The idea that it is good for the business environment, good for America, to not enforce laws against fraud is just bizarre. That is how it works in Venezuela and in Nigeria and in lots of other places where they do not have rule of law and where there is not counterparty trust in business transactions.
Well, with the bond due in a matter of days, what will happen if Trump doesn't come up with something?
And what it means, unless the appellate court, in New York is called the appellate division, grants him a stay until after the appeal is done to pay, Attorney General James has said she's going to go into court, and so he has until March 25th, and she's going to request that his assets start being seized. Properties, liquid assets. So that's going to happen if he doesn't get the stay, and he has to pay, because that's what the Attorney General said she's going to do if he doesn't come up with the bond or the money.
Do you think Trump is going to post the bond? You let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit those like and follow buttons, and thanks for watching.
They wouldn't be doing this. This has never been tried in New York before. There's no better real estate company in the country than us.